In the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA096.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
Boom, we are back. Taylor, live from our shout outs from Dan Carlin. How are you doing today?
Good. Did I tell you that we're adopting a tortoise?
Yes, and I'm really excited about you. I've been telling Rachel about your tortoise for it's been like 4 days I've been talking about your tortoise with her.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to get him, and I'll have you meet him. He's the one that we might get is 32 years old.
Do you know how big he is?
I imagine he's pretty big, but I don't know.
What's his name?
I don't know. I know there's two we might get. There's like the 32-year-old male, and then there's a like 16-year-old female, and her name is Lady Gaga.
That is pretty cute. Although it's a sign of the times. I mean, 16 years ago, you'd name your tortoise Lady
So
Gaga.
yeah, so I'm super excited about that. And I will keep you posted on that. I feel like there's some other announcement that I wanted to tell you. We
I hope
talked
he has
about the
an old
fire,
name.
talked about the weather. I know. I hope his name is like
Thurgood, Thaddeus, the fifth.
Maxwell. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I don't name him Dan Carlin.
That's pretty cute.
Cool. Hi, thank you. Bars, welcome everyone to Doomed to Fail. We bring you history's most notorious disasters and epic failures twice a week. And I am Taylor, joined by Farth, and we were talking about some like nuclear things, and I have kind of a fun thing. It's like easy to make fun of, but it is a thing that has good intentions.
You did post a picture, and Taylor doesn't. We don't tell each other what our topics are ahead of time because we want to get like a live reaction to things. But Taylor did post something about what she's going to be covering, and I kept guessing in my own mind and couldn't come up with what it was.
Wait, what did I post?
You posted like it looked like where do kids go when they're born? Like it was like a.
Oh no, that was from Chernobyl.
Oh, I thought you said, oh, you know what? You did it ahead of time then.
Yeah.
I thought you meant it was going to be the next one. Okay, never mind.
No.
Sorry.
But thank you for looking at our social media. And no, guess what happened exactly 1 month after Chernobyl in America?
3 Mile Island.
No, May 26th, 1986, in America and all across America. Guess what we did? Guess what 5 million people did?
I have no idea.
They held hands. Talking hands across America. Do you remember that?
I don't know this at all. This is going to be interesting. I don't know this at all.
So, Hands Across America is a charity event where they wanted people to hold hands for 15 minutes in a human chain all the way across America.
For what purpose?
I'll tell you, to raise money for like hunger in America. And so I always think about it because you've seen Beer Fest, right?
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
So in the beginning of Beer Fest, when they're like, getting their team together and they get Landfill and they like see him at like a eating contest and he goes, I haven't seen you guys since Hands Across America. And they hold hands and they go, Hands Across America. And like it's just so funny. And like Juan and I say that all the time. And then also did you see the Jordan Peele movie?
Yes.
They're wearing like Hands Across America t-shirts. Like
your memory is just like crazy good.
Well, I also just researched this, but like we do sing Hands Across America song all the time because we love Beer Fest so much.
Beer Fest is an amazing movie.
It's so good. So basically, yes, the plan was to have people hold hands from New York City to California for 15 minutes and raise money to end hunger in America. They ended up raising $15 million, which is not at all their goal. The goal was like 50, but at least they raised $15 million. And then as you would expect, there were some breaks in the chain.
Of course.
Which is
rivers and
like deserts in
mountains
Texas,
and
yeah. So there's like this thing that happened in the 80s where there were like big celebrity philanthropy things that people were really excited about, where like every famous person wanted to be involved. And some examples, like before Hands Across America, in the UK, there was Live Aid, which was in 1984, which was like a big concert to raise money. Do you remember this?
I do.
Yeah. So in Ethiopia, just like putting it all together, in Ethiopia in 1983 to 85, 1/5 of the population died from starvation. They had just horrible drought. It was like the official cause is war and drought, like policies that made it hard to feed people. There were, 200,000 children were orphaned. Just absolutely, devastated that area. So Bob Geldof, or Geldof, the musician in the UK, put together Live Aid to raise money. So that's what they had. That's what that was, and that was like a big concert. But do you know what song came out of Live Aid from 1984?
No clue.
Do they know it's Christmas? Do you know that song?
No.
I hate it. It's a
Should
Christmas
I?
song. It's a Christmas song. Yes, it's like, well, it's like I don't know how much Christmas music you listen to in the Soak and Sandwich household, but
Not a
here
lot.
from like mid-November all the way through Christmas, I'm listening to Christmas music, and there's always this song. So it's "Do They Know It's Christmas?" And basically, it's like there won't be some of the words are like there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas. Do they even know that it's Christmas time? And you're like, no, what? Dumb.
Can
It's
I?
definitely snows in parts of Africa also, but it was like a song by a bunch of celebrities to raise money.
You know what? As you were telling me the Live Aid piece of this, what I was thinking about was that one song with like Michael Jackson, and like
Yes,
they all
that's
got
it. hmm But that's
okay.
not it. But that's the next one. I'm gonna tell you about it in just a second. That's
But
We Are
but
the World. Yeah.
we are. I will say that that became for me like the focal point of when we thought that celebrities were better than we are because they would go and
hmm
sing, and then you have like everybody saying "We Are One" or whatever.
Yes.
It's like that ick, the gross cringe crap from COVID. I
hmm
feel like this started that.
It absolutely did. Yeah. And this is like the first time this is happening. Exactly. Exactly right. So anyway, Do They Know It's Christmas, I think is a ridiculous song, but it was supposed to raise money to help from Live Aid. So Live Aid also it was in Wembley Stadium, big concert, and you've seen the Queen movie, right?
No, but I've seen the real videos from
Yeah.
Freddie
Yeah,
Mercury.
of course. So like the Queen was in it. So it's a whole day of concerts, but I just wanted to read the last couple people who performed. It was U2, Dire Straits, Queen, David Bowie, The Who, Elton John, Freddie Mercury came back, and then Paul McCartney. And then that's when they recorded Do They Know It's Christmas Time?
That's wild.
The, at the end of Live Aid, which I did not know that that was like connected, that's when they did that song. So they raised a bunch of money with Live Aid to help the people in Ethiopia, which was super great. And then in America, we were like, well, we can do this too. Like we can have a song and raise money, and we have our own famous people. Harry Belafonte, in particular, was like, we should involve Black people in this, which totally makes sense. So he was like, we need like a much more diverse group of people singing a song. And so the song that they wrote is the one that you had just mentioned, "We Are the World," which I'm sure is in your head right now.
Yeah, unfortunately it is.
Totally. So anyway, America is like we're going to do this too. We're going to write a song and have a bunch of celebrities sing it and have the money go to charity. So "We Are the World" is written by Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and Quincy Jones. What? That's an incredible group of people to write a song.
I mean, listen, like for what it was a good song. It's just like I hate. You know what? They did a great song because I can sing it right now in my head. I haven't heard it in like 15 years.
Exactly. Exactly. It is the eighth best-selling single of all time.
What's number one? Thriller?
White Christmas by Bing Crosby, which
Got it.
I love. Also Christmas music. So they they wrote the song and they got it ready. On January 28th, 1985, immediately after the American Music Awards in LA, everyone went to the recording studio. So it was like 50 people and like tons of people were not invited because they like couldn't fit everybody in, like all of the musicians in. They worked all night till 8 a.m. and there were 21 solos. So I feel like if you can picture that, I'm going to read you the people who did the solos because it's wild. There's Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Paul Simon, Kenny Rogers, James Ingram, Tina Turner, Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Dionne Warwick, Willie Nelson, Al Jarreau, Bruce Springsteen, Kenny Loggins, Steve Perry, Daryl Hall, Huey Lewis, Cyndi Lauper, Kim Carnes, Bob Dylan, and Ray Charles. So like huge mega stars on that list. They raised $50 million for famine relief,
Yeah, I can believe it.
which is pretty incredible. There's a video, I'm sure you've seen the music video as well. That is great. Also, like there was a chorus, and you remember Dan Aykroyd was in the chorus,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then The chorus also includes like all of the Jackson family members, all three Pointer sisters, just like a whole bunch of people are in there as well. As well, Harry Belafonte's in the chorus. They ended up making a an album as well that had a bunch of other songs on it. One of the other songs was by Prince. Prince was he didn't attend the recording session for We Are the World because Bob Geldof called him a creep, and he was mad, so he didn't go.
I mean, yeah, I get both sides.
So the album that they made won four Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and multiple American Music and MTV Video Awards. So huge, huge success.
Yeah.
People loved it. So one of the guys who worked on We Are the World, his name is Ken Cragen, and he started a group called USA for Africa, which does not stand for the United States of America. It stands for United Support of Artists for Africa.
That is kind of misleading.
I don't love it. Miles is here. He doesn't know that he's going to lose $5 because he's in my space. If you come back in the space, you will lose $5. Okay. So, um, so he says, let's do something else. So 1985, let's do like the next big thing. Let's include more people. And the next big thing they decided to do is Hands Across America to raise money for hunger here in America. So not for Africa, for America, even though it's from United Supportive Artists for Africa. Whatever, they're doing it here. They plan it for May 25th, 1986, and they do a huge like press conference to announce it in October 1985. One of the people who was one of the big sponsors was Bill Cosby, which is not great in retrospect.
Right.
So they had 700 company sponsors. Coca-Cola and McDonald's were like huge ones. There was actually someone in 1976 who had wanted to do Hands Across America um, to celebrate the bicentennial, but they ended up doing just 10 miles outside of Chicago, which makes me laugh also. But that patent, the trademark on Hands Across America, lapsed, and then Ken Cragen picked it up for the big Hands Across America.
Well, good for them.
So um, Michael Jackson was so mad that they didn't use We Are the World as the theme song for Hands Across America that he left the board of USA for Africa.
Yeah,
He
you're
was just
dealing with a
like,
lot of egotistical
exactly.
people.
Yeah, the actually I didn't mention this, but when they sang We Are the World, there was a sign at the front door that said, "Leave your ego at the door."
Yeah, I'm
Because
sure they
exactly
did.
that. Exactly that. So you were asked to donate $10 to join the chain. That's how they were raising the money. Besides like the corporate sponsorships. Eventually, people who had not paid got to join anyway because like they needed more people, so it
Yeah,
didn't
of
really matter.
course.
No one was like checking your ticket like the day of. They sold um, a mile for $13,200 per mile that you could like sponsor. Prince was actually the first person to buy a mile. And then people could like be in that mile for free, basically. So the route that they had planned was 4,125 miles from Battery Park in New York City to Long Beach, California. It went through 16 states and Washington, D.C.
There's no way 5 million people could do that.
No, they needed way more people.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Like it's amazing that 5 million people did it, but that's not enough people.
No.
You need more. So they were um obviously like you can't go through every state, but there were people who were pissed. Ted Kennedy was pissed that I didn't go through New England because it went through like DC and then and then Pennsylvania and then like out that way that they did like a counter thing in Massachusetts called Hands Across Massachusetts because they were jealous, so they weren't invited. There were obviously it was like a huge deal to coordinate. So volunteer community coordinators recruited people in their cities, which kind of reminds me of like the March of Dimes and when like the women were like their community coordinator for their area to raise money for the polio vaccine. It was like you volunteer to do it, you get all your friends to do it, and you register, you take the donations. And then again, like they let people come who didn't pay. Tons of celebrities came. There was a part of the Susquehanna River in Maryland where you can't go on the bridge, so scuba divers held hands underwater, which is cute.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah. Um, President Reagan was there last minute. It went through the White House, like through the White House lawn, because Reagan had just said in the news about hunger in America, he had said, quote, "Where there is hunger, you have to determine that that is probably because of a lack of knowledge on the part of the people as to what things are available." So like blaming poor people for being hungry. And people were pissed. So he joined Hands Across America last minute, and people were mad. There was a chain of people protesting across of the chain that was in
They
the
should
White
have been
House
holding
lawn.
hands.
So they were like a separate chain protesting that part of the chain. And Reverend Jesse Jackson said he should not be in the line. His policies created the line. So like everyone's mad. There's like political stuff in DC. Some places where they didn't have enough people, they had like ribbons and ropes. Some people use like their animals. They're like the one part of it was like cows foot to foot
Leave the animals alone.
because they're like, why are you doing this? In some places, it went through like prison yards and the prisoners held hands. It went through
I
the
really hate
stadium.
this. If I'm being honest, I like everything about this is making me like the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
I know it's like for a good reason, but it's like also ridiculous. And I just hope that you see.
Also, you could just give the. I think back to that one Ellen video where it was like, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of trivia questions, and for everyone you get right, I'll donate $1,000 to cancer research. It was like, well, can't
Just
you just give
donate
them
some
the
money.
money?
Like
Like
the money from the all of the stuff like went to logistics, like the
15
money
million.
that
Like I know you said
they could have
15
just
million. I
given,
was like, that seems like a like not that much money.
right? Because like Coca-Cola gave them $8 million for logistics. Like just give $8 million to people.
Yeah.
But they wanted, but exactly like you said, this is like the time of like the really big charity thing. And we also talked about this in the polio thing, like that time when women and moms were doing March of Dimes stuff and getting people to donate to a specific charity. Like that was brand new, and that was like the 1960s. So we haven't been doing this forever where you give to a specific charity. Before you would give to a community chest, like in Monopoly, and then a community board would decide where that money went in your neighborhood, you know?
I guess,
So
yeah.
there's like,
I'm looking at it through a modern lens, which is like donations are just like way of life. But maybe like back then you
yeah.
needed to do something like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was performative, but I think obviously on purpose. So it went just more fun facts. It started off in with a 6-year-old girl from Brooklyn who lived in a New York City welfare hotel, which is like a place like a homeless shelter for families. And so she started it to like kind of bring awareness to like her plight and like what people were really living through. Then it went over the George Washington Bridge into New Jersey, down through Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles held hands with local Little League kids, which is cute. Um, and then Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King Jr.'s widow, she was there. So a ton of people, a ton of famous people were there. During the 15 minutes, they like sang "We Are the World." They sang "America the Beautiful." Tony Danza was there. Mickey Mouse and C-3PO held hands in Disneyland. Um, like
So
Lionel,
stupid. It's
it's
all
so
so
funny. Lionel
stupid.
Richie, uh, Little Richard, Frank Sinatra, Yoko Ono. You can see pictures of her holding hands with people. Um, and yeah, it just kind of went and it didn't do what it was supposed to do, but it was just like a fun, weird activity. There's a famous picture of nuns holding hands with Hell's Angels in and in Gallup, New Mexico, 2,000 Navajo um were a part of it, which is cool because there was a powwow that weekend. Um, like 5 people got married during Hands Across America somehow.
They're all divorced.
There were some baptisms, one bar mitzvah. I'm sure there were a bunch of engagements and stuff. And so another thing that happened kind of afterwards is like this is the 80s also. Like I don't know how you're collecting the money, but a lot of people who did it and said they were going to donate just never sent their money in.
Yeah, of course.
So that was another
Those are the
way that
COD
they got.
days.
Yeah, exactly. So, there were 20 they raised $24.5 million, but then 9.5 of that money went to costs, even though they got corporate sponsorships. So in the end, $15 million got to charity. They estimate that like about 8 million of promised money never got there because people, again, like you said, they just never did it. They used the money, they distributed it to really quickly. Like by 1987, they had distributed the money to 1,600 local organizations in all 50 states. So they didn't leave any states out of like distributing the money and giving it to like local food shelters and things like that, which is great. And so, yeah, they raised money, but it's a funny example of like being super ambitious and being like, you could never do that. No one's holding hands over
It
the
was the
freaking
scuba
Death
divers were
Valley.
kind of the scuba divers were kind of impressive, but
Yeah.
overall, like, yeah, it's weird. Like I'm reflecting back my like childhood. I'm like, yeah, like that does feel like the moment when like people
Hmm.
started being like, oh my God, these celebrities are like angels. They're gonna save us from
Yes.
ourselves. And it's like they're just worse versions of us. They're
I
like not
know.
any better. They're worse. Like
They
it's
could
like
just quietly give away all their money.
I know.
What?
I know. But whatever. I mean, yeah. Yeah,
But
the
whatever.
whole singing during COVID thing, I was like that was
Yes.
the one time when I was like, finally people understand why I have this sentiment towards like celebrities being like, we can heal everything. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
you,
Just give me all your money.
your jobs were like what people would do when they couldn't have normal jobs in the 1800s. Like
Yeah. Like you were like, it was like,
a shame.
yeah,
You were
we've
shunned by
definitely
the
talked about
family.
this where like women actors were like the same level as like sex workers in
Yeah.
society. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And you talked about, to go back to some of our other episodes as well, we did the one on the cult of celebrity that you did. And like that definitely, it's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, like I'm not like actively boycotting things like the Academy Awards. It's more so like, why is this interesting? Like, why
Yeah.
do we like sit here and like we're gonna have to get bank? I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's culture. I'm stepping outside of culture, I guess.
I guess. I mean, I am stalking my new best friend Dan Carlin on Blue Sky, but
That's
like,
different though. That's different. Like I don't know. Like I feel like that's different. Maybe I'm wrong.
no, I hope. I mean, I think is. I mean, I
But
feel
also, if
like,
Dan Carlin told me to like do something or what he believed in, it's like, who gives a shit? Like you're not
yeah,
like God. Like you can't.
right.
You're not infallible. Like you can also have stupid
Totally.
ideas. Like,
Totally. Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, that's it. Hands across America.
oh God. I
So
can
funny.
visualize it, because it's all pixelated and granulated. You can see like the blacks aren't really that black, and like it's like
It's
kind of
so
like
80s.
yeah, it's so 80s. Like you can see the flicker of light coming. Yeah, it's so
Yeah. Oh my God, this shirt is actually great. Like, the shirt they're wearing in Us is like United States of like in the middle of it, there's a bunch of hands, people holding hands. It's just really funny. Like I like in
it's
my
even
head.
like even the look in the faces of the people that are doing this, like we're doing something, and it's like no, you're not.
I know. And like I feel like I don't know. So in some cases, I'm always like, you know, for charity things like, oh, I can just give you the money. You don't have to do the thing. Like sometimes the kids will have things like a fundraising drive at school, right? And then it's like, oh, if you raise like $200, you get this shitty toy, and it goes through this website, and then I'm sure it's taking a percentage off of it. I'm like, why don't I just give the school $50, you know, and like save
So
everybody the time. I can give them cash.
yeah, it's
I'm
hold on.
seeing a
What's
picture
this
of people
number?
in on the beach in California, and they're not in a straight line, and I'm like, that's also part of the problem.
Yeah,
We need to be
it's
as the crow flies across America. There's no time for anything else. Imagine what the responsibility you would feel if you were a child and you like let go of someone's hand.
yeah, you'd ruin it.
This is your fault. And then I think the end of Us, all of like the weird creatures are holding hands, like Hands Across America, because it's like there's a Hands Across America t-shirt.
Yeah, there's all these like nonprofits where like more than 50% of donations go to paying salaries of staff and logistics
Totally.
versus like
I mean, it's hard. It's so hard because you need people to work there. Like, I know people work at nonprofits, and we've talked about this, where like, they expect to get paid less than you would if you worked in the private sector. That totally makes sense. But also people need to live. So like there's things. Then there's also ones like the Susan G. Komen, the Pink for breast cancer. They're fucking awful. They give like 1% to actual breast cancer research. It's all performative.
well, it's partially performative, I bet, because so much money is wasted in like the logistical aspect of running
Hmm.
these programs of like
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't work in that industry, so I don't really know, but like yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really answer. I'm halfway through reading Abundance that you had recommended by Ezra Klein,
What do you
and
think?
it's good. And there's a couple of things that I find super interesting, like the wealthier a city, the more homelessness they have because housing is more expensive, and like that makes sense. And like the how we've lost, like one thing that he said that I keep thinking about it is like the boarding house we lost. So it's hard to like there's no place to live where you can like rent a room and then there's a kitchen in the middle and you share it with a bunch of other people, Like that used to be a thing that people did. And that was like a great step up to like adulthood, like a dorm, but for grown-ups. And like that feels like could solve a lot of problems.
One thing that I just started hearing about was like why there's such a rise, and you don't see that. I mean, where you're living, you wouldn't see this, but like in Austin and LA, like in other parts, like highly populated parts of the country, there's this like, in not to overuse the word abundance, but there's an abundance of new construction of
Mm-hmm.
luxury condos,
Mm-hmm.
and the logic I'm hearing online to be fair, but it's like they do that because if it's like somewhat associated with like luxury or like whatever, then they don't have to offer Section 8 housing.
Right.
And so subsidized housing can't be a part of that. And so you're actually causing more of a reduction in affordable housing in those wealthier areas
Right.
because they're deliberately trying to take that away.
Right. And like I get that it's because they want to make money, but also then like people can't afford anything. It is a bummer.
What do you think of the
But yeah, no,
book?
it's good. It's super interesting. They're talking about that, and then just a lot about like I know you always mention like these regulations, especially in California, like the high speed rail stuff is really, really just wild. All the money's been put into it, and how like other countries have like very successfully done it for decades, and we can't do it. Really
Yeah, it's
wild.
kind of nuts. We'll see. See where it
Um,
lands. I'm abundance
mm,
build.
yeah, yeah, I'm excited. It's good.
Sweet. Well, that was fun. You brought back so many memories of like my childhood.
Yeah.
It was yeah, it was very interesting. I remember like you made me reminded me of like when Pizza Hut bought the moon or something, or Pepsi bought like a spaceship.
Oh,
Like, it was there was we were
yeah.
nuts in the early '90s. Like we were
Just doing
such a
such weird
crazy
stuff.
country. Like
Yeah. And I also like wonder like it's so funny and interesting that like they had to do these announcements like at the Super Bowl. Because how do you get everybody's attention? Like things like that I think are so interesting. Like pre-internet, getting how did we know anything?
yeah, yeah. You just have to know
Just
stuff.
don't know. You just had to know. You had to like have a friend who did it and or whatever. But it seems I think it would have been fun. I guess I would do it. If they were like hands across the Joshua Tree, I would hold everybody's hand.
Looking at the pictures of people that did it, I would not want to hang out with them. So I would probably would not do it. But I would donate.
Right.
I would donate. I do call check on delivery, COD, and I would give them a check, and that would be my contribution.
Oh, there's that's what I'm saying too. Like you can just do that. You don't have to like do
Sweet.
this stuff. There's a gif of them holding hands and Beer Fest and going hands across America. Oh, I should watch Beer Fest tonight. I've been watching Tacoma FD more. God, I love them.
There, you know what? The later stuff they did, the island, Fear Island or whatever,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
stupid. It was really just.
It's hit or miss. The most recent one is like Quasimodo and it's terrible.
I didn't even try to watch that.
Don't even. It's so bad. And
It's
we saw them
really
live
just,
one time and it was also terrible. But then like some stuff is great.
dude. Super Troopers and Beer Fest, those two are like, they should be in the National Archives.
Super Troopers 2 I think is better than 1. I think we talked
I
about
don't think
this.
I even saw Super Troopers
It's
2.
so good.
Okay,
Seen it
maybe I did
more,
see
I
it.
think. It's great. Um, yeah, obviously
All right,
amazing. But
we are Broken Lizard fans here.
of course we are. Cool. Well, thank you. That was fun to think about. I have I one that Morgan has been bugging me to do that I want to do. And I'm hopefully going to do that next week, but I'm waiting for a book from the library, of course, because that's my goal. My life is just waiting for books from Libby. And but yeah, thank you everyone for listening. If you were part of Hands Across America, I want to know what it was like. Did your mom make you do it? Um, let me know. Doomtofailpod@gmail.com and anywhere you social media, Doom to Fail Pod, especially Blue Sky, where Dan Carlin is and I are having a very
Robust relationship.
robust conversation where he has answered me twice and I keep telling him he's awesome and he's like, thank you. So it's been great.
Very cool. Awesome, Phil. Well, thank you for sharing. I'll go ahead and cut it up there.